Hey peeps, in this video you're going to get the ultimate guide to Penang, a little island off the coast of Malaysia, and we're going to take a good look around and we're going to cover all things including transport, food, water, everything you need to know, most importantly things to do. And if you stick around to the end, there's a nice little surprise that you're probably not going to get anywhere else. Now let's start with transport. The best advice I got was when you get to the airport, don't stuff around, just jump on a cab. Tends to be a lot easier. Now if that's not in your budget, there are other options available, and that would be public transport, bus. I didn't get into those, so I can't really share too much information. I can tell you a little bit about Grab though. Grab is the Uber version here in Malaysia. It works really well, no different to Uber really, but I believe it's actually controlled by the government. Pricing is really good. The most expensive ride was $40, and that was a 45-minute ride, so I thought that was pretty good. And sorry, that's 45 ringgit, so it's about 20 bucks, 15 bucks I think it is. So it's actually really cheap, and that's one thing that you'll find out is that the prices here are actually pretty good. One thing I will say about driving around in Penang, I don't recommend it. Drivers here have no real consideration for other road drivers or safety. You look at the motorcycles, they're often driving around without gear, overtaking on double lines, just as this guy here just behind me just did, and everyone seems to be in a hurry and not really considerate of one another. So look, it's I felt safe sitting in the Grab cars and sitting in the taxis, but it's not something I'd probably want to try myself. Next thing we'll talk about, accommodation. Now there's two main places around Penang that you'd probably look at staying at. One of those is Batu Ferringhi. That tends to be where most of the tourists hang out. The other option is Georgetown. That's the city. Now I'm not much of a city person, so I chose to stay at Batu Ferringhi. Really nice place, markets throughout the street, great food, lots of things to do, including water sports and other activities, and it's reasonably close and reasonably cheap to get anywhere anyway. We're staying at By the Sea Apartments, the suites, and that's right on the beach. It's got a nice pool and it's really friendly. There's also some little quaint little homes, people's homes that you can basically stay at. There's a lot of options. Book through booking.com, Airbnb, all those options. Now Batu Ferringhi doesn't really seem to come alive until the night time. Probably around 6 o'clock. Food stalls and all that start to open, or the market stalls start to set up on the road, and everyone seems to come out. Is that because it's too hot during the day? Not sure. Now, food. Penang is one of the food capitals of the world. You can actually get some of the most unique and fantastic meals here, and relatively cheap. Why? Because basically you've got migrants from India, China, Thai, all over the place, and they've brought it all together in a mixture of foods that you're just not going to see anywhere else around the world. Now you've got lots of options for food in lots of different price brackets, and that starts, let's go straight to the top. You can go to a nice high-rise restaurant and they're going to cost you probably about 50 ringgit a meal, which is about 15 bucks in Australian, so it's not a significant amount of money. But then if you go to the shopping centres, they have nice clean meals. I find they're not as fresh as some of the other meals that you get outside, but they're pretty good, they're clean, and they range at about 15 ringgit, so about $5 Australian. Now the best places to eat around Penang are the hawker centres. Basically it's just a nice little, like a food court if you like, outdoor food court. Some of them are on the beach, some of them are in the middle of nowhere, and we found some really fantastic ones. We just come across this place, it's like food heaven. It's flavours and foods that you're probably never going to see anywhere else, and we tried most of them. They were pretty good. When it comes to water, now I don't recommend drinking the local water. Your body's not going to be used to it, so drink bottled water when you can. Now saying that, I've had a lot of watermelon juices and dragon fruit juices and a lot of juices because they're packed with ice and they're really refreshing. Now often they are made with local ice and local water. I haven't been sick and neither has my family through all those juices, so I find it relatively safe to drink. When you're buying water in Batu Ferringhi, there's lots of little 7-Elevens or 24-hour food shops around, and the water's about two ringgit. So what's that in your dollars? It's going to be about less than $1 for me. And for me, that's actually pretty good. But when you go into town, go to the bigger supermarkets, you're going to find it about half that price. So keep an eye out, but that means you're about half an hour away and you've got to drag it back either through a grab or anything. But, you know, take some bags, carry some slabs, and you'll be fine. Now, if you're into massages, there's quite a few around town, and most of them are pretty fairly priced. Now, I paid for a full body massage and my feet because I've had a bit of a sprain recently, and it was about an hour and a half, and I paid 150 ringgit, so $50. Now, I could have bartered with them, but to be honest, I think it's unfair to barter with these people, you know, for the sake of a couple of bucks, which is nothing to me, but a lot of money to them. Now, I'm not much of a city person, but Georgetown is definitely a city worth seeing. Let's go have a look at that one. This is the Blue Mansion. Easy to find, relatively cheap to get in. I think we paid about 100 ringgit for 4 of us, so 25 bucks a pop. And it's a self-guided tour. You can download an app that gives you all the information. We're a bit lazy and we just walked around and had a look, so we'll let you do the same. These here are the Clan Jetties. There's a few of them, but this is the one that's got all the shops and a bit more touristy, I think. But basically, these guys came over, took over the jetties, and it's since become their home. And yeah, they live here. You can do some shopping here and plenty of stuff to do. Let's take a look around. Now this street you see in front of you is opposite the Clan Jetties. A few stores, markets, shops, souvenirs, that sort of stuff, but come through, quite a bit of street art as well, so definitely worth coming through. This here is Penang Hill, home of the habitat. That's like the Skytop Walk or the Treetop Walk, and views of Georgetown. There's some cafes and stuff. Now probably the best way to get up here is by the tram, but don't come on the weekends. Apparently it gets really busy with school students and there's an extended wait, but you can meet it's like a full drive group down at the bottom, and they bring you up in a Hilux or those sort of cars. Costs about 160 bucks. Apparently costs 80 bucks per person. So if you've got more than 2 people, it's actually cheaper to get up this way. So let's take a look around. Hello, Bobby. Got some fleas, mate. Probably not the best weather for being up here today, but a little bit smoggy, but I think that's pretty typical of Penang. But I still think it's worth coming up here regardless of the weather. Just had the most magnificent meal at the Koto restaurant down here at Penang Hill. Highly recommended. It's a Malaysian restaurant. I had the soft shell crab and it was exquisite. Like a lot of the foods here, Penang is actually known for its foods, and you're gonna get some flavors here that you've never had anywhere before. Welcome to the habitat on the Penang Hill. Beautiful location. I'm really enjoying this. It is hot, as it always is in Penang, and I've worked up a sweat, but you know what? It's well worth it. Take a look around and enjoy the show. The only thing I like better than being out in the wild is running into wildlife. Absolutely fantastic experience, guys, and to see them wild in the jungle here. Pretty ancient jungle as well. I think Penang has some of the, I think, second oldest rainforests in the world, and that's the Penang National Park. We might get to that one, but this is a pretty old forest and pretty exciting. Now, my advice is take it slow and be really quiet. You want to see any wildlife? That's when you're going to see them. Keep an eye out. Some of them are really hard to spot. Well, peeps, that was Penang Hill. Definitely worth your time and effort. And don't forget, if you're coming on the weekend and really not fussed about the tram, take the 4-drive trip. It's definitely worth it, and for groups of more than 2, you will save some money. Some of the things we haven't done yet, or not likely to, is the butterfly farm. It's actually one of the largest butterfly farms or displays in the world, and it's really worth your time to go and have a look. Unfortunately, my family wasn't really into it and we ran out of time, so we didn't get that opportunity, but I do highly recommend it. Another place I was really keen to see was the Snake Temple. Now, chatting to a few of the locals, I discovered that, you know, some of the videos I've seen showed snakes all over the place, you know, hundreds of snakes basically sitting around. And I thought that might be a good way to face my fear of snakes and immerse myself in those surroundings. But as I discovered, they're probably down to about 3 snakes in the whole temple, so not really worth your time. And well, that's the advice I got from the locals anyway. Do bring some bug spray. I found Bushman's is working really well here. You can buy some local stuff if you prefer, or if you forget to bring your own. I haven't seen a lot of flies, I haven't seen a lot of mosquitoes, but I have been getting bitten a lot. I assume it's like midges. You can't see them, you can't feel them, but you get home and you're just scratching all over if you haven't protected yourself. So definitely give that a go. Okay, so we've taken a little boat ride to Monkey, I keep calling it Monkey Maya, but it's actually Monkey Beach. It's part of the Penang National Park, and it's just a gorgeous little secluded beach. Not too many people here. Apparently it is busy at this time of the year, in January, but at this stage we've got it, most of it to ourselves. Just wondering why they call this Monkey Beach. I have not seen any monkeys, and it's a bit of a rip-off, I reckon, but you know, let's go for a walk, we might find something. We made it to Monkey Beach and we saw our first monkey. Hello, monkey. I think we almost got a little bit of a scuffle then, but I might have missed the recording of it. But they are such beautiful creatures, aren't they? Now, thanks for making it this far. As promised, I've got a bonus tip for you. White coffee. Never heard of it? Neither did I. This is something that was mentioned by one of our Grab drivers. Now, I will say that I'm not a big coffee drinker. I know a lot of you probably are. A lot of people around the world are. And he said, look, you've got to give it a taste. You've got to give it a go. We're actually on the way to Penang Hill, and he dropped us in, no charge, and we had a look around. And I must say, some of the best coffee I've tasted from anywhere. Now, it is instant coffee. You basically buy it in a little satchel and you put it in your drink, and it's a pre-mixed thing. And you buy it that way because that's the only way you're going to get it back into your country anyway. Australia doesn't allow full beans, so we had to get it in powdered form anyway. And they do give you a certificate to take it with you. There you go, peeps. That's an Aussie guide to Penang. I really hope you make it here. Definitely worth your time. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining.